One watching, two watching. Oh, one waiting. Hold on. Did I not start it yet?
No, we're live, man.
Oh, we're live. Yeah. Okay. So there we go.
We are live.
Cool. Well, welcome everybody to Undisputed with Clay and Brenton, NASCAR talk show. We're going to have a good time tonight. So this weekend was Kansas. And as you probably know, if you're a regular viewer, we did not have a show last week, but that's okay. We're doing adulty things. We have houses, we have lawns to mow, and we have stuff to get done and stuff to paint. So we were unable to make a show last week, but that is okay because we have a ton to talk about this week because apparently Kansas was amazing. The All-Star race is coming. And yeah, so Clay, how was Kansas? You got to watch it. What happened?
Well, what I saw of it was good. I actually came into it kind of late. I was telling you before the show, it was an air show all day. So
Epic.
That explains the sunburn, and B, that explains why I didn't see the whole race. But what I did see was really interesting, and I was like, is this 2005 NASCAR again?
Wow, that's good stuff.
It was very good. It was very promising for the future of the sport. Because when I turned it on, I saw that Alex Bowman was leading, and I was like, this has to be the end of a pit cycle. There's no way Alex Bowman's leading this race. So once all the pit stops cycled through, Alex Bowman's, I don't know if he was still leading. He might have fallen to second to Chase Elliott, but I was like, wow, he's actually still here. And, as the race progressed, the racing just got better and better. And then they had a late race caution. Of course, they had to restart after that. And Chase Elliott and Alex Bowman were racing like it was, the All-Star race.
That's awesome.
Those two were racing each other terribly hard. And it was really, really good. And I think Kyle Busch weaved his way through there and made it 5 wide. He ended up cutting a tire down, had to come to pit road, and pretty much ruined his night. But, Jimmy Johnson was in there mixing it up. I'm like, where did Jimmy come from?
Wow. Yeah, I was going to say, it's been a while since we've seen anything from him.
This is old Jimmy again. And Bowman was trying to get the lead from Elliott. And while Bowman was racing Elliott, Ricky Stenhouse went by both of them and took the lead.
This is like my dream pick week.
Like, what is happening? And Eric Jones is there. So it was, at one point, I think the top 5 was Ricky Stenhouse, Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman, Eric Jones, and I think even maybe Jimmy Johnson was in there.
Wow.
I was like, this is so refreshing not to see a Penske or Stewart Haas car in there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Man.
Or a Gibbs car. And so as that progressed on, Bowman finally got by Chase Elliott. Chase almost wrecked. Chase drifted through the entire turn. Yeah, but he held on to it, and it was really impressive. I was actually really tired when I turned the race on, and by that time I was like,
it had you riveted.
I can't believe I'm this excited about a NASCAR race right now, because I always used to, but it's just, the level of excitement here in recent years is just kind of. So Bowman actually chased down Stenhouse and took the lead back from him. And I don't remember if this was before or after a restart, but Brad Keselowski started chasing down Bowman then, and he got right to his bumper, and Bowman was throwing some wild blocks. He was really, really good. I mean, he was driving like the old 88 driver.
That's awesome.
It was very, very impressive. I was like, who in the world is this guy? He was very, very impressive. He gained a fan Saturday night. And the only reason,
because I'm kind of with you on that one.
Well, the only reason Brad Keselowski won that race is because Bowman tried to take a different line to try and put some distance between him and Keselowski. and he ended up giving Keselowski his line, and Keselowski just went by him. And then once he got back into dirty air, his car just kind of started to fade.
Yeah.
But they did have another restart. Keselowski was able to get off again with a good restart and win, which, kudos to Brad. He's a good driver. He won it fair and square. But I noticed when they came to the checkered flag, Bowman was starting to track Keselowski down pretty fast again. So, all in all, the winner wasn't who I wanted to see at all, but it was very, very good racing. And at the end of the day, that's all I want to see is good racing, regardless who wins. So, going into the hots and nots this week, it's pretty much a no-brainer who is on my hot list. Third straight second place finish. I think we're gonna have to rename him to Casey Kane. But Alex Bowman is definitely coming to life. He is on my hot list coming into Charlotte, the 2 weeks at Charlotte. And then, who was not impressive besides Kyle Busch on Saturday night? I never heard his name mentioned once when I was watching. Was Joey Logano. His teammate won the race. Ryan Blaney, I never heard much about him, but Joey's always in contention. A lot of times he wins a stage or something. Joey finished 15th.
Ouch.
He sucked. He sucked big time. I'm not complaining because I don't like him.
Sure.
He was really not anything special Saturday night.
Huh.
So
that's interesting. Yeah, because I looked at the list and I agree. Bowman was made the first name on the hot list. I was like, that kid is going places. If he keeps this up, he's going places. The second name I had on the hot list was Eric Jones, because him and Bowman seem to just literally be paralleling each other, like climbing up the ladder. They're getting really good, strong finishes. They're actually in contention, top 10s, top 5s. Like,
right.
This is new, and I think a lot of people are appreciating that. I think a lot of people, which is really sad because a lot of people liked Jimmy Johnson back in the day. A lot of people liked Jeff Gordon. A lot of people liked Dale Earnhardt Jr. Some of those guys, or even like a Mark Martin. Some of those guys didn't win a whole lot. And when they did, we all kind of liked it. And then some people would just get mad. But I have a feeling like nowadays with like Kevin Harvick, even though he's not doing the greatest, but you have like Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski, who's got 3 now. It doesn't seem like people want the big names to win like they used to, like the Richard Pettys and stuff. So seeing a diverse top 5 and even a top 10 with a race like that, I think that's actually more of what NASCAR hopes happens. But the problem is they can't seem to replicate that every week. And I think that's what I think something we touched on in the episode before this is like, how can NASCAR get the non-big name drivers to not perform and get the lesser known drivers a chance to perform? And really all it takes is weeks where the big guys just don't have it all together. Kyle Busch gets a tire down and he has a pit penalty. Kevin Harvick just doesn't do that great. Like all of these big guys, Joey Logano doesn't do that great. Which is really strange because on my not hot list this week, as weird as it sounds, I don't know where I'm going with this, but I put no one. No one is not hot this week because everybody has slumps. Everybody doesn't do well. NASCAR, this race was amazing. Like everybody loved it. So you almost can't say that somebody was not hot this week because the whole sport actually was hot. Like it's undisputed. It was hot. So if the whole thing was hot, it's really hard to say that somebody's not, because all those good drivers or like the big name drivers had to have those failures, which I wouldn't say is not hot, because it's just how racing is. And so, if they were to do it for the next like 6 races, I'll start tacking them on my not hot list immediately. You know, like, but one race where you kind of have like Kyle Busch, he's had all top tens until Kansas. So
Right.
one race, that's really hard to say that you're not hot. And so that's for that reason I picked no one because I was like, it's all good this week. It's all really good. So
No, and you're right. You know, I think NASCAR needs a routine shakeup to kind of get these guys out of their comfort zone. Because I think that's exactly what happens. These guys get comfortable and they're good at what they're doing, and they just continue to win because they know what they're doing. They're comfortable with their cars, they're comfortable with the setups, they're comfortable with the packages, and until something changes, they're going to keep doing well. They're going to keep performing. And I think with the different aero package this past weekend, and maybe even I think at Dover, you know, you see a little bit different racing, and you know, I can't emphasize enough how much NASCAR just needs to keep the sport fresh.
yeah.
Got to keep it fresh.
Yep. Yeah. And so that leads perfect segue into the All-Star race.
Yeah,
Talk about keeping it fresh. What is up with that?
So, looks like we're going to have 3 stages this weekend. I don't remember that last year, but then again, I didn't see the All-Star race last year. I think you have a graphic for me. You're going to pull up.
I will pull that up for us.
So we actually have a few different stages to pick this weekend. Yeah, so stage 1 is going to be 30 laps. Stage 2 is 20 laps, and stage 3 is another 20 laps. And then the final stage is 15 laps. So it pretty much seems like each stage is just going to be nothing but a shootout, which seems exciting to me. So
yeah,
I'm kind of excited about this format. Again, I didn't see the All-Star race last year, so I don't know how it worked. But I like those, you know, short intervals in the stages because it reminds me a lot of like your local short track where, you know, races are only 20 to 25 laps. And then even the A main is only, actually, I think the heat races are probably like 10 to 15 laps. And then the A main event is 20 to 25 laps. So, you know, the race isn't drug out for 4 hours, and you know the face of the race changes 600 times before it's actually
right.
over. You know, if you've got a crappy car, you don't have 3 hours to work on it and make your way back through the field. You have
right,
to,
right.
You got to get out there and get the job done, which I really like about the format for the All-Star race this year. And then Brenton, who are our drivers that are locked in right now? Looks like Kyle Busch, Almirola, Blaney Boyer, Kurt Busch, Austin Dillon, Logano, Truex, Elliott, Hamlin, Harvick, Johnson, Jones, Keselowski, and Newman are all locked in this year for the race. But we're going to have at least 2 drivers that can race their way in. I believe there's 2 races in the Open, plus the fan. And I think we talked about this a little bit last time. My guess is that Kyle Larson's probably going to win the fan vote this year. But with Bowman's recent performance, he might be giving Larson a bit of a run for his money on that fan vote this year.
Sure.
And Chase Elliott's won a race now, so he is no longer eligible for the fan vote.
Gotcha. That's right. Because that'll take him off the list. I think you're right. I think Larson will get that. So the strange part is sadly, I don't really foresee anybody but that list of locked in drivers actually performing and winning. But I mean, it would be nice to see Larson get in there and actually, you know, take a chance at it. So hopefully he'll get that opportunity.
Well, with that in mind, I'm going to let you run through all your picks. Who you got for this weekend at the All-Star race?
Okay. All right. So this week for the poll for the All-Star race, I picked Logano, just so because, I mean, he wasn't that great in Kansas, but he is good. Penske's been fast. I wouldn't put it past him to be able to do it here. I tried to do a lot of, not a lot, but I tried to do some research this week before the show, earlier throughout the day, to try to get some good understanding of it. And I only actually researched one driver, so it's actually kind of shallow. I didn't do a lot. I just researched one driver. That driver was Jimmy Johnson. If there is a track that I know he can perform at, it's here at Charlotte. And so I picked him for stage 1 winner. He got a top 5 at Kansas. So is he sneaking under the radar and getting into this? Maybe. But as we've both discussed and we both know, you cannot rule that guy out. So I did put him as the stage 1 winner. Stage 2 and 3, since we have 2 and 3, I actually put Brad Keselowski. He's already running momentum. These aggressive short stints, on the restart at Kansas, he is rough. So I can see that happening. And we tend to see a lot of duplicate stage winners. But the reason why I went 2-3, is because we do tend to see duplicates, and instead of having just stage 1, stage 2 winner, we have to throw that third stage in there. So I put Brad as 2 and 3, and I dug up Johnson again because we do seem to see a lot of repeats. I actually think Johnson's going to win the All-Star race. Wow. It'd be very fitting for him. He's very good at this track. I think he can contend the whole time because he is good at it. And with a limited field, when you're only running, 20 some cars, it's a little less than the whole 36-40 field that they're normally running. Granted, dirty air is hard, etc. I just think he can do it. If there's a time for him to come back, he won one of the duels or the shootout or something. I forget. He won something. So he can clearly win non-really points races. So it's possible. My long shot then is Eric Almirola. I know he's good, and I would never rule that guy out. But when you have a list as deep as that is, he's a great driver, but he just makes that long shot list because he has less experience with the All-Stars. So that's my run through.
Well, that is interesting because I went a totally different direction.
Perfect. I am excited to hear what your direction is because this is fun. Will be interesting.
So Friday night for the poll, who I have on my radar, he's been really good on qualifying day here lately, and Charlotte's just another one of his great tracks. Chase Elliott, I think, is going to come in with a pole on Friday for the All-Star race. He's been very impressive lately. Stage 1 of the All-Star race, I think you're going to see Ryan Blaney take it. And you touched on something about Keselowski and Logano. I could be wrong on this, but they typically strike me as being long-run type guys. When a race goes long, it tends to play into their favor.
Yes.
Just like Saturday night, Brad Keselowski was there. The longer he wore out Bowman, the better chance he had of getting around him, and he did. These short, chopped up stages, I don't know if they're going to play in their favor. If you look at the complexity of a race, it seems like Ryan Blaney, Ty Dillon, Kyle Larson, guys like that, they win stage 1. They are the short run kind of guys. They are good in the early stages of a race. At the end of the race, your guys like Logano, Keselowski, Harvick, Kyle Busch, those guys come to life. They've had plenty of time to work on their cars, and they just drive right by the competition. Their cars last longer, and their teams are better at strategizing for the long haul. All-Star race is completely different. Now, they may adjust and adapt to that change. I don't know. But for stage 1, I see Ryan Blaney taking stage 1 just because he's been good in the early stages of the race lately.
Sure.
Or actually this year. And then in stage 2, Kyle Busch is always going to be there. He's one of those guys that is he's just always there. I don't know how else to say. He's just always a contender. So I see Kyle Busch taking stage 2 win. And at stage 3, I see Ryan Blaney coming back. I think Ryan Blaney is going to be a threat all night at Charlotte for the All-Star race. But
I like that.
Coming in for the winner, I don't know why he's sticking in my mind, but he's good at Charlotte. He's raced hard here before. I'm pretty sure he's won the All-Star race. Actually, I'm positive he's won the All-Star race before. Again, I don't know why I like him, but he's just one of those drivers I love to root for. Kurt Busch.
Okay.
He's had some speed. He has had a lot of speed, and he's actually shown up his new teammate pretty well this year. Kurt has been kind of impressive. You look at his stats, look at his finishes this year. He's not bad.
That's a good one.
With $1 million on the line and some bragging rights at Chip Ganassi Racing and to beat his brother, I'd watch out for Kurt.
That's you. I love the direction you went with this week because you have such sound logic. You're actually right. The Penske cars, a lot of them are only good on the long run. You're right. A lot of them are wearing it out. Other than that, it's not too good. Brad just happened to be in a good place last week to get that position up there and on the restart. But Kurt Busch, I love it. That is fantastic. And he said he'd wreck Kyle if he got to him in that other, in the race back a couple weeks ago. So if it comes down to that, man, this would be fantastic.
That was weighing on my mind. That's one of the reasons I thought of Kurt. And for my long shot, I'm going double long shot on this. And what I mean by that is I think it's going to be a long shot for him to get into the race. And I think it's going to be a long shot for him to win. But he might just do it. Alex Bowman. It's third. The second place finish. He's got some work to do this weekend. He's got to race his way in one of the open races.
Yeah.
If he can do that, he was phenomenal at Kansas last week. He's been phenomenal the last 3 weeks. That boy is hungry for a win. You can see the disappointment in his face during his interview Saturday night. I think he'd do just about anything for a win right now, especially the bragging rights and money of the All-Star race. You watch out for Bowman.
That is a great pick. I love it. That is amazing. I really think that your list is far superior to mine. I'm just curious to see how it'll turn out because I actually wish I had made your list or at least something similar to your list because your list has much better logic than mine.
Well, I'm just kind of going out on a limb and just kind of thinking outside the box. And the reason why is because the All-Star race is typically not very predictable. But in the past, the All-Star race has also had, a common theme of any other race of the year. And what you're describing sounds like a very good pick for the Cook 600 next week or 2 weeks.
I was going to say, that's actually unfortunately where my brain was when I was making these picks. So our episode next week after the All-Star race, when we can dissect that, will probably literally be very close to the list that I just made. So
I wouldn't be at all surprised to see Jimmy pick up his God knows how many 600th win now, or not 600, but his 600 win.
Yeah. So, man, well, this has been a fun show. I know we had the comments up. I don't know if anybody was live and watched us this week, but Clay was on there asking anybody to see. I guess nobody was there on this one, but that's okay. If you're watching this after we've recorded, let us know. We'd love to know what you think, who your driver that you think is going to win the $1 million, because we've had a lot of fun picking, and we really appreciate you guys watching. So thanks a lot for all the support. Until the next episode, leave us a comment. Thanks a lot.